talk about Casey's struggle with anxiety and having a hair trigger. She lives on edge. So we've got to see it here, and it's also been expressed to us that at home she can trigger into a state of mind that is very unhealthy for her and for everybody around her. The example that was given to us at home was if there were, I believe it was thunderstorms or fireworks, something like that, would actually send her into a state so frantic and so anxiety-ridden that she would eat through sheetrock walls
And windows.
and windows, which is pretty intense.
And she bit her owner.
Yes, and so she can switch with just a sound. Earlier today, I was working with her and a truck drove by, and you could just hear like a and she automatically postured up and ran to the wall, like just switched from 0 to 60 into the state of mind. So what we're doing is we're working on letting her know, first of all, that's not something that we desire from her. Second of all, it's reactionary. So it's reactionary. Is that how you say that? And so she's not really making a conscious decision. She's just reacting. But we got to bring the action of switching into the state of mind. We got to bring awareness to it for her. So if we add a consequence to it, she'll be aware of it. So we're seeing less and less of it, and at a less intensity. So when she does trigger, I'm able to say no with a verbal and a tap on the e-collar at low levels and snap her out of it, and she comes back to reality, if you will, and then that's the end of that. So we want to get it so that she is regulating herself more and more. We just set her up with a knock on the window out here, and she did just that. She regulated herself. She started to go into that state of mind, and then I seen her check in with herself and calm herself down. So she's making lots of progress, but this kind of stuff takes time.
Is that why you decided she needed an extra, at least 1 week here?
Yes, she needs more time because of that issue. It's more like a rehab issue than an obedience issue. All right. So our 2-week program is designed to teach obedience commands, which works great for dogs who, are bratty, or puppies, or dogs who just lack that. But dogs who need rehab, we need more time. So these commands help her state of mind. It's going to help in the process of getting her in a better headspace, but we definitely need time. Also, on top of that, she has a tendency to, once she does trigger into this space, to redirect. So she'll use her teeth around anything that's close to her if she gets sent into this space. And
We should explain why she bit her owner.
Exactly, and it's not personal for her. It's not a personal thing. So it's just reacting with her teeth, kind of eyes closed, snapping about. And on day 1, with the walk, any pressure from the e-collar or from the prong would send her into this reactive state where she would bite at the leash or at my leg or anything close, and it's obviously not personal. So we've gotten her to the point where she's not reacting on the leash. She's not biting at my leg. She understands that it's just my way of communicating with her and disagreeing with her position.
What's the difference between teaching obedience and rehabbing a dog?
Obedience is strictly just the commands. Rehab is the commands plus getting a dog that's in an unhealthy space in their head to a healthy and balanced space. So it's the additional time and the time and effort into getting a dog that's in a very messy place in their mind, most of the time dangerous, to a place where they're actually safe, calm, confident, understands the commands, and not living on edge. If we're using her as an example, she lived in a space, it's much better now in just a week, but she lived in a space that was dangerous to her and to people around her because she would trigger into a defensive state of mind, and she would use her teeth around the closest person, dog, or anything, an inanimate object, as we've seen here. So her tolerance to pressure from the outside world is very low. And we need to raise that. And that comes through the rehab process more than it does the obedience commands. We will be using the obedience commands to help get her into a better place. But it's not just as simple as teaching the obedience commands and then sending her home. We actually have to teach her the state of mind we want her to be in and teach her to self-regulate.
Awesome.
I actually don't like that word rehabilitation for dogs because I think it leads people to believe that they're fixed. I think it leads people to believe that
Well,
when
I
they
think
leave here,
If
that
someone goes to drug and alcohol rehab, you're never truly fixed. It's like a lifetime of management.
there you go. So that's a good example. An alcoholic is always an alcoholic. So maybe it's just the way people view a rehab process is that I think they view it as when they leave here they're done, they're fixed, and that's just not the case. It's she has new skills under her belt. She'll have a higher tolerance to these things that have caused her to be a danger to herself and others in the past, but it does not mean that she's fine and dandy and that she'll never trigger again if not advocated for. So I just like to be careful about using the word fixed,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because she's not an appliance. She's not a microwave or a stove. We can't just send her to the repairman and have her good as new.
She's living, breathing.
Yeah. So all what we can do is raise her tolerance, disagree with the bad behavior, and give her a solid foundation with the obedience and teach her to live in a healthier state of mind with lots less anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And you get a dog who is much more manageable to live with and enjoyable to live with.
Thank you.